Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at a legend team for this season. Now the first few players hit legend. I have a few more legend teams as well that maybe can showcase still on the channel. But this was one that I was really excited about because we have one of my favorite Pokemon in PvP at least in here, which is going to be the Morpeko, of course. And I was a bit worried about the team because I didn't really see the synergy too much about Claydol and the Credilli. And I was wrong. This team actually worked out really well. Claydol was nice. By the way, I wanted to have Ice Beam on my Claydol. I used my last few TMs again, and I did go back to Scorching Sands at the end of the day. I think I went on to, Gyro Ball, Shadow Ball, Earthquake, and then I ended up on Scorching Sands again, and then I didn't have TMs anymore. So yeah, sorry about this. Ice Beam I think is currently better in the current meta. Allows you to hit Pokemon like Credilli for super effective damage, which is kind of nice. So yeah, that's just something that I would recommend you to maybe change. First battle here, sadly we're kind of getting walled, but it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. Honestly, this team was really nice. You're gonna see it here in today's video as well. There was a lot of synergy between actually the Credilli, the Morpeko, and the Claydol. You kind of want to play it like an ABB style line because you have a double weakness to fighting in the back. So your main idea would be to swap out eventually into your Credilli, unless like for example here where Superpower would be a bit annoying. We have more fast move pressure with our Claydol. Claydol actually wins against Melamar in any shield scenarios, far as I'm aware. So yeah, Rock Tomb is going to get the shield. We're going to be able to go for the full farm down here as well. We're going to no shield actually this time around. And that's a bit of a risky play because if they have a ground type in the back, I mean, I guess we still have another answer for ground types with the Credilli here. So we got some energy on our Morpeko, which is going to be lovely for later on. We were able to get out our grass type Pokemon against the opponent's ground type Pokemon, which is going to be lovely. Of course, at least their ground type damage is still going to be neutral here for them, which is great, but yeah, luckily we still resist the Thunder Shock. We still do super effective damage with all our moves. And the opponent is now in range for Morpeko basically. And that's what I kind of try to get them to. But what we will see here is a great play by the opponent. They catch the move onto a Jump Love. If I went for the Rock Tomb, they would have been in range already for an Aura Wheel, but they, of course, swapped out perfectly onto a double resisted hit, which was really nice. But we can still go for an Aura Wheel, and this is why I love Morpeko so much. I mean, the damage output, what is this? We're gonna have the CMP tie here against them, knock them out in time. We still have a shield left. We had +2 attack now. Against their ground type, one Psychic Fang is going to be enough, and their final Pokemon was the Melamar, which comes back in here and has superpower. And I'm now worried because I'm not too sure if we're gonna be able to outspeed them here, but we can. Luckily, they didn't overfarm that much. If they would have been able to outspeed us, we would have most likely lost the battle on the spot. But like this, we're gonna be able to win this battle with our Morpeko. Next up, we're going to have a pretty bad lead here, but we have two answers in the back for the Azumarill, and we're going to be able to get out the Diogong, allowing us to go for the Rock Tomb the entire time. And this should be a matchup that we're most likely going to be able to win, right? Like, they do more fast move pressure, we do get to our charge moves faster. I'm not too sure actually who's going to win this. I see what is coming through. I'm going to let the move go through here as well. I kind of try to keep my shields for the Morpeko, of course, because Morpeko with shields is deadly, like literally destroys everything. And to be fair, most days should just let the move go through here. I decided to use a shield. I should have used the shield on the first move most likely then if I wanted to use a shield. So yeah, I guess that was a bit of a silly idea. I tried to go for the Grass Knot because it's gonna get the KO. And oh, we can realign. But they can get a ton of energy, and this is going to be scary because now Morpeko needs kind of the shields here, and so we use a shield against the opponent. It is going to be the play rough, and we can still go for a charge move, but we have to be a bit mindful here. We have to see what they have in the back. Aura Wheel is coming through. We're gonna get the shield. We're gonna try to go for another Aura Wheel afterwards. This is going to be fine. It is going to allow us to get some nice damage onto them and put them into maybe the farm down range for a Claydol. We're gonna try to catch the move. It doesn't work out, but they have the Sand Session in the back, and because we're actually running Scorching Sands again, even though I used 4 TMs to get just back to the Scorching Sand. Like, TM system has to change. Like, sorry, like, it is not okay on how that currently is happening. So many people are, like, kind of annoyed at the current TM system. Like, you add so many moves, which is great, by the way. Like, love that we have, like, so much more move options nowadays. But at the same breath, you kind of have to give the people opportunities that they can change the moves as well. And currently, where it's just a guessing game on what you're going to get from a TM, it just doesn't really work. Anyway, we're going to see the diggers becoming in, and I actually decided to go for the Scorching Sand just to weaken them up a little bit. I know I have my Credilli. I know my Credilli is going to be able to mostly do some nice stuff here with the Grass Knot, but we know that we're going to need to go for at least one extra charge move anyway, but they're going to get the attack drop here from their charge move, and that is going to be quite annoying because now the Grass Knot all of a sudden is not going to be enough to knock them out anymore. And they can go for another charge move. This charge move would have never went through if they didn't get the 30% chance, and they get it twice. So our Credilli is now completely in a position where you don't do damage at all with it. And that is kind of scary because like, this would have done more say around double the amount of damage there, and then we would have had them more into farm down range. But they got the 9% chance of getting back-to-back debuffs with the Scorching Sand, so bit annoying. But we can now go ahead and let the move go through. There's debuffed still by one stage, and we can go ahead and go into our Morpeko now against the Azumarill. This should be a matchup that I should be able to win, right? Like I'm gonna be able to boost my own attack. They're of course gonna use a shield here, but still I'd rather boost my own attack here the entire time because we know that we're gonna do some sort of damage. I can use a shield here. It's gonna be the Ice Beam. I'm a bit scared still of the Drapion, but I can go for another Aura. Like while yes, Psychic Fang's gonna be neutral, Aura is gonna do way more damage, which we will see here as well. And now we have them hopefully in the farm down range for our Morpeko. We have to use a shield. We are a bit scared of the opponent's last Pokemon there, of course, with the Claydol here now against the opponent's last Pokemon. We're going to be fine though because we can get the KO with then our Morpeko's Thunder Shocks. And so we're going to be able to win this battle here. Azumarill is coming in. We're going to be able to go for another Psychic Fangs, and Morpeko should be able to clean up this game. We should be able to still get to another move here, right? Yep, and this is going to be it for this one. And we can move on to the next opponent. But yeah, let's take a look now at the next opponent. We're going to have the Azumarill on the lead. Again, we have to stop out of here. Not a great lead, but we have kind of an ABB style line, and with that, it's kind of not too bad to swap out. For example, here we're going to get out a Pokemon that our Morpeko would have not wanted to battle against at all. And this is actually a very neutral matchup for us, because while our False move is resisted, Rock Tomb still hurts. And they only do neutral damage against us, which is going to go basically lower and lower now anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. It's also a Pokemon that our Claydol would have not wanted to face, so at the end of the day, I can let the move go through here. I could even fully farm them down if I really wanted to, and I do that. And so now we can align ourselves. We have energy on this Pokemon. I go for the Rock Tomb against the Drapion, and now the Drapion is against our Claydol, and the, I think, Azumarill is going to be against our Morpeko, so we are in a great spot, right? Yeah, we can hopefully let the move go through. I should let the move go through here. Azumarill is what we kind of need to beat. Yeah, we can let this go, and we can now go into our Morpeko, and we are kind of aligned in terms of the switch clock, which hopefully is going to end up kind of similar towards what we had the last time. I could go for a Psychic Fangs here, but to be fair, just going for the Oriole here is kind of a nice play in my opinion, because we just boost our own attack stat with it, which I feel like is kind of a little bit better. I know dropping the opponent defense is cool as well, and here I make a mistake. I should went for the Oriole, I would say, because it does more damage. Like that's the thing as well, they're never going to shield here, and Oriole just does so much more damage compared to the Psychic Fangs that I feel like it's not worth it to go the route that we went here. They're very likely going to swap out here eventually though, and they don't, and I make a mistake. I should have just went for the Psychic Fangs. I know I didn't go for the charge moves, but I kind of screwed that up myself, and I think they get to move here. They don't. Luckily I still win, but that was, yeah, not the way you're supposed to play it. So, Gliscopod, not too bad actually, especially as they're going to go into their Morpeko, where we can let the first move go through, which is going to be a resisted Oriole most likely, and their attack boost is going to go away basically straight away here. And what we can do is we can just play it out. I think in the one-shield scenario is our best play, because yes, they would mostly knock us out with the next move now, because they're going to have the Dark-type version of it. But if we're going to use a shield here, I can drop the opponent's attack straight away afterwards again, and I think I might even be able to still survive another hit then afterwards, even if it's the Oriole, which is going to be great for us now. So like they're shieldless, and I think I still might be even able to realign, because now it's just a resisted hit, and it's a neutral attack from the opponent. So Oriole is not going to be enough. Can I still get to another charge move? I can. It's gonna be against the Diggersby, but because I went for the Grass Knot instead, it's gonna be super effective damage hitting them. I can go into my own into my own Claydol here and go for the Scorching Sand afterwards. I hope that they don't get the debuff this time around. This would be very nice. We gotta get the attack drop again. I think they have now 3 Scorching Sands against us, and all of them got the attack drop. That is quite unlucky. I think it's a 2.7% chance then for 3 back-to-back Scorching Sands to debuff. But do we get a 4th here? We get a 4th. That is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't really want to calculate on how the chances are for that one to happen. But I think we have now 4 Scorching Sands in a row that debuffs us. And at the end of the day, we don't really care too much about that at all, because we're still going to be in a position where we should be able to win this battle. So even with all the debuffs in the world, this team is kind of unstoppable. And honestly, this team was a lot of fun to play. It is quite straightforward. It's kind of like an ABB style line again. And you have double Rock Tomb, which I think is such a great thing right now, because Rock Tomb is one of the most broken moves that we ever had. And it is just such a strong move to have. Good as a bot. Yeah, this Pokemon very likely gonna swap out. Oh, they're gonna stay in here. They're gonna go for the extra. I usually would like to let the move go through. You have 2 bulky Pokemon, you have a Morpeko, so in an ideal world, in my opinion, you kind of want to keep your shield for the Morpeko. In this case, here we're going to be able to go for some Grass Knots against the Clodsire, which is cool. We can let the move go through, because also the cool thing about the Claydol, and that is like my favorite thing about Claydol, like Claydol is such a strong Pokemon right now. You have access to a Rock Tomb. It is such a great coverage move. I know they have Earthquake here, and I do think we have to go for a charge move sadly in order to knock them out here. I don't think we can go for the full farm unless we want to invest the shield, which we don't because we have the Morpeko on the back. So we're going to be able to get the KO here. We're going to be able to go for another Rock Tomb here. We just have to hope that there's something in the back that we can deal with the Morpeko. Please don't be a Fairy type Pokemon. Fairy type would be kind of awkward. They're going to go for the charge move here. It's fine. We can just get some extra energy for the next matchup. I'm totally happy about this. And it's going to be a Dunsparce. And it's Astonish Dunsparce, which is an interesting play because the Rollout got nerfed. So Astonish is now performing differently because he generates energy a little bit slower. But it might be even a better way of running Dunsparce. And I'm kind of curious if this is the case. And I also would love to see if I could like run Astonish Dunsparce and bait out opponents' Annihilate with that. That would be kind of funny. But like, it's a cool idea from the opponent. I actually do think it's a fun idea there. The Gorilla support still has to take some Psychic Fangs here though, where I think we're gonna be fine as well, because I can actually swap out here and try to get this move to be a bit fancy. Doesn't matter, a Psychic Fang is going to knock them out. And looking on paper right now, Astonish is now kind of tight with the Rollout to be the best fast move, while having better matchups against something like, for example, Jellicent here, or a Grumpig, so that's an interesting play. Rollout, I think, still is the better fast move though on the Dunsparce, because you're going to have a lot of Pokemon that's currently weak to Rock type moves in the meta, which is also one of the reasons why, yeah, Rock Tomb on Pokemon like the Claydol are very, very nice. I decided to stay in against the Third for a little bit, even though they have super effective fast move damage, just to debuff them first, and now that's Trailblaze and it just doesn't do damage, so like it is going to be the better way for us to go. We can get the KO against the opponent here, and we should be in a very solid spot. The charge move Rock Tomb is going to get the KO here. They're going to have the Drapion coming back in there as well. And I think we might be even able to take a Crunch. I don't think a Crunch is going to knock us out. We have quite some decent bulk. And yes, we just barely survived this one, which is lovely. As this Rock Tomb now is going to be able to drop the opponent's attack. We get them into the farmland range as well for our fast moves. But as you will see here, we have the Jumpluff now against us. And that is going to be a bit scary. That is a matchup that I don't really like to see. And let's see on how this is gonna go. We're gonna be able to go for a charge move here. It is going to be the Aura Wheel. We're gonna drop them quite low with that, like lower than I expected, because now we can just go for the Psychic Fangs here to try to get the shields from them. We have to get rid of the Jumpluff anyway for our Claydol, but it's still gonna be a bit of a tough one. They're gonna get another defense drop onto them. I am going to shield this move up. It's gonna be another Aerial Ace, and they swap out into the Drapion. I can catch the move. Is it the Awkward Tail? It is the Crunch. It's going to get us basically knocked out. We have to hope that we can farm it on with the Morpeko, which we can't. And this is sadly going to be a loss with that. But good game to the opponent here. Yeah, difficult matchup there. It is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. Final opponent against Meloma again. Whilst, like, in theory, a bad matchup having Dark type against a Psychic type Pokemon, you win this in any equal shield scenario. And I would just recommend you just go for the 2 shields. Like, there's not really a reason to not do that. Unless they're gonna let the move go through here, which they do, I would just no shield them the next move, and I think you can just farm them down here actually. I don't think they even get to another move, but we'll see what they're gonna do here. 4 players coming through, they decide to swap out into the Cradilly. Again, if you have Ice Beam, you can do a lot of damage here. We don't have Ice Beam on this Pokemon sadly, but we have Rock Tomb still to make the matchup a bit better maybe for our next matchup here for our Cradilly again. They're debuffed, so they're gonna do less damage, but it's just going to be a Rock Tomb game here right now. We're all just gonna Rock Tomb each other and see where we're gonna land at the end of the day. We still have the fast move pressure of our Claydol, which is going to be great as well. Like, even if we're going to barely lose this matchup here, we still have our Claydol to do some nice damage against them. And as we will see here, Rock Tomb is coming through against a Malamar. They're going to just sacrifice it. That is fine by me. They're going to go down here. And let's see what they're going to do next. They're very likely going to go back into their own Credilli. Let's see. They do exactly this. I can go into my Claydol. I can catch the move. I will take that. If it's a Grass Knot, it's a Grass Knot. It's a Rock Tomb. We still even survive this one. I can go back into my own Credilli. And I hope there's a survivor hit here. But I'm not too sure that I am. And so I'm going to let the move go through here. It is going to be the Grass Knot. I'm not surviving this one. I think a Rock Tomb I maybe would have been able to. And sadly, they just have a hard counter in the back. And sometimes it just goes like this. I think it's fine. It is what it is. Yeah, I should maybe went for a Psychic Fang straight away as well here. Doesn't really matter at the end anyway. We will see it here. We have to use a shield against the Sludge. I don't think an Auriel would have done more damage because like one is super effective, one is resisted. So I don't think maybe it would have done a tiny bit more. Maybe this would have won us the battle. I am not too sure, but again, good game to the opponent here. Well played. This team was a lot of fun. Legend team here as well. Definitely try it out if you can. And that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like and I will see you then. Bye bye.